Hello and welcome. Welcome to this podcast. I'm really happy you're here today. If you're listening to this, it probably means you've been learning English for a while. You may understand a lot. You may read quite well. You may even speak English sometimes. But there is one small area that still feels confusing, uncomfortable, or even frustrating. And that area is prepositions. Especially three very common ones, in, on, and at. Today, we're going to talk about in, on, and at in a calm, simple, and very practical way. This is not a grammar lesson full of rules that you have to memorize. Instead, this is a conversation that helps you feel how these words work, how native speakers think about them, and how you can start using them more naturally. Many English learners think their problem with in, on, and at is about memory. They believe they just haven't memorized enough rules yet. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is that these words don't translate directly from your language into English. They are connected to how English speakers see space, time, and situations. So today, we're going to slow down. We're going to look at meaning, not just grammar. And by the end of this podcast, you won't feel like in, on, and at are random anymore. You'll start to see a pattern, a logic, and most importantly, you'll feel more confident using them. Let's begin. First, let's talk about something very important. In English, prepositions are about relationships. They show how one thing relates to another thing. When we say in, on, or at, we are not just choosing a word. We are choosing a way to see something. Imagine English as a camera. Every time you speak, you decide how close the camera is and what it is focusing on. And in, on, and at are camera choices. Let's start with in. The basic idea of in is inside. Something is surrounded. Something is within boundaries. When you say something is in a place, you imagine that place as a container. For example, I am in a room. The room has walls. It surrounds me. I am in a city. The city has borders, even if we don't see them clearly. I am in a country. The country is a large container, so in is used when you imagine something being inside a space. But in is not only about physical space. We also use in for time when time feels like a container. For example, in the morning, in the evening, in 2025. In the summer, these time periods are not exact points. They are long enough to feel like a space you can be inside. You don't say at summer, you say in the summer, because summer feels like a big time container. Now let's talk about on. The basic idea of on is surface or contact. When something is on something else, it touches it. There is contact. Usually there is also support. For example, the book is on the table. The phone is on the desk. The table supports the book. The desk supports the phone. But again, on is not only physical. We also use on for time, when time feels like a line or a surface. For example, on Monday, on Friday, on my birthday. A day is imagined like a flat surface on a calendar. You place events on that day. You don't say in Monday, because Monday is not a container. It's a specific day, a surface on your schedule. Now let's move to AT. The basic idea of at is point. A specific point, a precise location, a moment in time. For example, I'm at the door. I'm at the bus stop. I'm at home. Here, you're not talking about inside or surface. You're talking about a position. When you say at the door, you don't care if you're inside or outside. The door itself is the point. For time, it is used for exact moments. For example, at 7 o'clock, at noon. At midnight, these are precise points on the clock. So let's pause for a moment. In dar inside container. On number surface, contact. At number point, exact position. This is the foundation. But now, let's go deeper, because real English is not just about simple examples. Let's talk about place in real life. Imagine you are talking about a building. You can say, I'm in the building. I'm at the building. Both are correct, but the meaning is different. If you say I'm in the building, you are inside. If you say I'm at the building, you are talking about location, maybe near it, maybe just outside. The building is a reference point. Now imagine a cafe. You can say, I'm at a cafe. This doesn't mean you are physically touching the cafe building. It means the cafe is the place where you are spending time. This is very important. In English, it is often used for activities and social locations. For example, at work, at school, at a party, at a meeting. These places are not just physical spaces. They are situations, activities. When you say I'm at work, you are talking about your role, not just your physical position. You could also say, I'm in the office. That focuses more on physical space. So English gives you a choice, and your choice shows what you want to emphasize. Now let's talk about transportation, because learners often struggle here. We say, in a car, in a taxi, in a truck. Why? Because these are small containers. You sit inside them. But we say, on a bus, on a train, on a plane. Why? Because these are larger vehicles, and you can move around inside them. They feel more like surfaces or platforms. Again, this is not about logic in your language. This is about how English speakers imagine the situation. Now let's move to addresses. This is a classic problem. We say, at 25 Green Street, on Green Street, in London. Here, you can see all three working together. At 25 Green Street is a specific point. On Green Street is the street as a surface or line. In London is the city as a container. This is not random. It's layered. English often moves from small and precise to large and general. Add on in point, line, container. Now let's talk about time more deeply, because time prepositions are where many learners feel the most stress. Remember this general idea. At an exact time, on a days and dates, in a longer periods. But instead of memorizing that, let's feel it. Imagine a timeline. At is a dot. On is a small section. In is a big block. At 3 p.m. reached a dot. On Tuesday, section. In April, the block. That's it. Now, let's look at some common expressions that don't follow what learners expect. We say, at night, not in the night in general conversation. Why? Because night is often treated as a point of darkness, not a long container like morning or afternoon. But we do say, in the middle of the night, because now night becomes a container again. Context changes how we see time. Now let's talk about abstract uses. Because in, on, and at are not only about space and time, they are also about states and conditions. For example, in trouble, in love, in danger, in progress. Here, it shows that you are inside a state. You don't say at trouble, because trouble is not a point. It's a situation that surrounds you. Now look at on in abstract situations. On duty, on sala, on fire, on hold. Here, on often suggests an active state or condition, like a switch being turned on. And at in abstract situations often shows focus or direction. Good at something, bad at something, laughing at something, looking at something. It shows where attention is directed. Now, let's talk about a very important idea. Native speakers don't think about rules when they choose in, on, or at. They see a picture in their mind. That's why translating directly from your language doesn't work. So instead of asking, which preposition is correct? Ask, how does English see this situation? Is it a container? Is it a surface? Is it a point? This question alone will change how you speak. Now, let's talk about common mistakes. Not to shame you, but to free you. Many learners say, I'm in home. But English says, I'm at home. Why? Because home is not just a building. It's a personal point of reference, a state. You can say, I'm in the house, but I'm at home. Now another common one, in the internet. Correct is, on the internet. Why? Because English imagines the internet as a surface, like a platform. Now let's talk about confidence. You will still make mistakes. That's normal. But when you understand the logic, your mistakes become smaller and less frequent, and native speakers will still understand you. Now let's bring everything together. In bar inside, surrounded within. On number surface contact activity. At nose point focus exact position. When you speak English, you are not choosing a right or wrong word. You are choosing a perspective. And this is exactly why thinking in English matters. Because when you stop translating and start seeing the picture, grammar becomes natural. Now, before we finish, let me give you one simple practice tip. When you hear or read a sentence with in, on, or at, don't just repeat it. Stop and ask, why this one? Visualize it. Train your mind, not your memory. And slowly, without pressure, you'll notice something beautiful. You'll stop hesitating. You'll stop overthinking. And you'll start speaking. Now let's close. Thank you so much for listening and staying with me until the end of this episode. I hope this conversation helped you see in, on, and at in a clearer, calmer way. If you found this podcast useful, please don't forget to like the video, leave a comment sharing your thoughts or questions, and subscribe to the channel for more English content like this. Your support really helps the channel grow, and it allows me to create more episodes for you. Until next time, take care, keep practicing, and keep thinking in English.